Court is concerned, just put your hands on it. I've got it, Steve, I just gotta find it. Thank you. Just a quick comment, all the contracts are in place on the high school, middle school construction project. They're awaiting distribution by our project manager, OPM, which is PMA. And we have the executed project funding agreement back from MSBA. Everything is in place. There are two things that I'm waiting for, which is the bonds and the certificates of insurance. PMA has told me that they will be delivered to Town Hall. On a very positive note, the $50 million in bond money that was due did come in today. So that money did come in, and I will be meeting with the Finance Department staff this week, and we'll be presenting our recommendations to the financial planning team on Friday relative to how we handle that money and how we ensure that it's secure, liquid, and available throughout the project.
Question,
Yes,
you said 50 million?
yes, 50
It's
million.
supposed to be more than that.
Yeah, 51.4
What
million.
about the
51
bond premium?
51.4 million. Oh, Bob, it's all here. I just was,
Oh, okay.
I'm rounding off for
I thought maybe
simplicity's sake.
something-
Me too. When
Something
I read that, I
happened,
wasn't
No,
sure
no,
too.
no,
I was
no,
thinking
no,
the same
Okay.
thing.
I'm rounding off. I didn't even
Everything
include the
that we
residual
expected
amounts.
came in.
It's all here.
Great.
Like the spaghetti sauce is in there.
Mhm.
Code Red. I gave you a little bit of an indication that the Code Red notification system is ready to launch on July 1. Everything is in place. We had a mandatory training session involving all of our municipal departments who may be using Code Red. Code Red is an emergency notification system. If you go to the town's website, you'll see that there's a link that's there. You can go in, you enter in your email, you enter in your cell phone numbers. We're ready to go. So there'll also be an informational stuffer that will go with your tax bills. So when your residents receive their tax bills, which will be going out at the end of this month, they'll see in there that there's a stuffer. It'll draw people's attention to either call Code Red and give your information over the phone, or enter it in online, your choice and your preference. Keep in mind that your listed phone number is automatically entered into the Code Red system. This is additional supplemental contact. Many people have cell phones. We have no way of reaching those people. And there are more people that have cell phones as being their sole means of communication. We need to find a way to be able to reach those people. So I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, and we issued a policy in terms of how it's gonna be run, who's responsible for it. It'll be managed through the police department. We've identified what are the conditions that it would be used for. And those are generally emergencies of some type.
Mr. Prisco?
I just let you know, I did go online. I did register my cell phone, my wife's cell phone, my email. Super easy.
Same with
And it is nice for those folks, especially the seniors that don't have access to electronic computers and things like that to get onto electronic media to do it. The phone number works pretty good too. So I have to say, I was really, really impressed at how easy it was.
It was, and I registered myself, and I can prove, attest that it was easy.
Yeah, I did the tests. It allows you
Same.
actually, every individual, once you do it, to do a test and see how it works. And it's pretty impressive. And it actually will send you text messages as well if you want it to.
Number 3, there was, we received some notices on 2 hearings involving the Massachusetts pub group, North Reading, which is known as the restaurant formerly known as the Piccadilly Pub. There are a couple of hearings that are coming up. They in no way affect actions of this board. However, please keep in mind that there are no applications pending transfer of the Piccadilly Pub liquor license. You may also recall that the liquor license and the real estate are 2 separate, distinct entities which are feuding with each other. So the hearing has to do with the liquor license holder. One of them has to do with state tax filings, the other one has to do with unemployment insurance. And we received notice routinely, we don't expect that we will intend to participate in those things, but they're out there.
So in relation to that, at this particular point, you've got some warring factions here. My guess is the Piccadilly Pub is in violation of their lease agreement with the property owner. The license goes with the holder of the
Location,
license
right?
right now, but the location, but also, I'm just wondering if this board could take any action on their own to revoke the license based upon, if we were to get notification from the the owner of the property, that they're in breach of, their covenants, and therefore are no longer operating there, which would then allow for that location to once again become available more quickly. I think if we could help facilitate that, we should. Rather than waiting for them to go for a transfer of license, we would then be able to issue a new license. I don't know if we can have, I don't believe we can have two licenses for one
Same
location.
Correct.
I know we cannot. So therefore, I think it's incumbent upon us, if we want to see some quick action take place at that location, should somebody come in and try to operate another restaurant there, we would want to try and facilitate that.
Mhm.
So while this is going on, if you could check with the town council and the ABCC and see if we could revoke it based upon the property owner notifying us that there's been breach and they're no longer a tenant there, we could revoke the license.
I
And that
think
would
it's a good
step up the
idea.
process.
No, it's a good idea.
Have we been
Expedite
notified in
New
writing?
tenant coming in,
Expedite,
operating.
expedite the new tenant coming in, if there's gonna be one.
Let me see.
In the process, it would be issuing a new license rather than a transfer.
So I heard there was some rumblings that that's part of the tie-up down there.
Oh, there's very much
Getting-
rumblings.
So,
Getting someone in.
so if
because
we
of
could,
this license.
if we could help facilitate the process of getting a new tenant in there and getting that vacant storefront, operating again, it can only be a benefit to the community in Route 28.
And there is an all-alcohol restaurant license, which is available, which makes the entire process a lot easier.
Right, so if we could contact the ABCC and find out if we could, and we may want to reach out to the property owner and ask them to formally notify us that they're no longer a tenant there, we could then revoke the license and save the ABCC all this
You
heartburn.
actually received some contact from the attorney representing the landlord a while back, and my recollection was they indicated they were involved in negotiations. I'll go back and I'll read
So,
the
I know,
letter.
but I think we could help facilitate a license at that location if we revoke the one that's there now, rather than waiting for it to be litigated and drawn out. Because if they're no longer a tenant there, they're no longer, and they no longer have a place to operate, the license isn't valid, we can revoke it, I believe.
That's a good idea.
And as you know, it has to be done after a hearing, so the
Right, that's fine.
licensee has a
So-
right to be come in and say,
Right, so if we can put that on the fast track, it's only gonna facilitate a new tenant coming in there.
excellent, thank you. Next is I'm pleased to announce that Travis Tremblay will be joining our police department as a full-time patrolman. He's currently involved in the full-time police academy. Mr. Tremblay has worked as a reserve police officer for the town for several years. It's indicated that there are 2 additional positions that we do need to fill, which are created at town meeting. Efforts are underway to do that. As you know, they're made off a civil service roster provided by the Human Resources Division. As Mr. Misery knows, sometimes that can be a bit of a crapshoot in terms of how quickly you can get that list. But we will be making at least one of the next 2 appointments off of what's called the open competitive list for the Commonwealth, which is a list of anyone who wants to be a police officer throughout the state, who's taken the examination, who has a score that qualifies, and there are a number of different qualifiers and points that are given for veteran status, disability, education, and such. So, at least one, if not 2, will be hired out for that list going forward. And then also, efforts are underway to begin the process of filling the acting lieutenant detective position that was created at town meeting. Chief Murphy informs me that he has conducted some interviews. I have not received his recommendation at this point. And also there will be a likely sergeant position that will be created as a result of someone being promoted to the rank of lieutenant detective. And we interviewed sergeants this past year, I believe it was probably back in December or January. But nevertheless, we have a number of qualified candidates that will be eligible to be promoted on an acting basis. Both of those appointments will be acting until there's a civil service examination that will begin. So, goal is to get those acting appointments completed and in place no later than August. And then last on my list is just an update on the Smith versus North Reading litigation. As you know, this was against the Board of Appeals. It also named the Board of Selectmen. Council has filed the response with the courts. Council has also responded a motion opposing the preliminary injunction, which had sought to remove the obstructions blocking the bridge accesses off of Elm Street. We'll see when the injunction request comes up. We'll go to the hearing, and then when board members wanna go, we'll give you the date, time, and location, you can be present also. That's it. Little hoarse. Allergies are the
That'd be
best
a-
of me tonight.
We're finally down to old and
I'm
new
struggling.
business. Mr. O'Leary.
I would like to, once again, congratulate the North Reading High School baseball team on their state championship. Coach Carey for his 697th win. He had a pretty good week last week. He had a team that qualified, that he wasn't so sure was going to qualify for the state championship. He retired from teaching and then just won the state championship. That's not a bad week. Congratulations to Frank Carey, but more importantly to his ball players who did a great job. I rode out to Holy Cross on the other day and to watch the game, and it was an exciting game, and every single one of them contributed to the win, not just to the one game, but through the whole season. And scrappy team did a great job, and they're to be congratulated. And Chief Warnock's son, RJ, had a heck of a season, but a heck of a game, and then went on to play the All-Star game the next day and proved himself even more. So congratulations to Chief Warnock and his family, but to the entire team. Other than that, it was a exciting game, exciting to be there, and we had a great turnout from North Reading, probably close to 250, 300 people
Wow.
there, which was great. And I never heard of Mount Everett. I've heard of Mount Everest, Mount Everett, but they were a very formidable opponent. They had a terrific record themselves, and but the North Reading baseball team, the bats came alive early on. It was great. So it was a great watch. Great to be there, and proud to be a Hornet. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Foote.
Real quick, same thing, I think it's great. I was shocked to learn today that there's only 2 seniors on that team, so they're only losing 2 players, so they should be a good team for the next several years. And, you know, I think the exciting thing for right now for North Reading sports is all the spring teams did very, very well this year. I think all but one made state tourney, so it's a good time to be a Hornet, and it's exciting, so thank you.
Mr. Misery.
I just want to update the board on a couple things that have been going on. On the community impact team, we met this morning, working on getting the a budget together on a 3-year plan aimed at working with work that Mike has done with our legislators associated with trying to get a grant. And, we went through that and kind of prioritized it. Next thing I was put it into a formal budget, so that'll be available shortly. I met with Liz and Jean, talk about Munis, and we also talked about just general IT issues, and the intent is, well, before I go to the intent, I also met with Greg and Jean and General Code on the document management. Pulling all of that stuff together, the intent is to have a presentation for the board prior to October town meeting for the purpose of capital, as Greg is talking about, the overall capital plan, to lay out how this can be done over a period of time, what has to be done completely, and then we'll have the opportunity to decide on what's affordable, how we want to approach it, whether it's bond the whole project and get it all done, or break it up into pieces. We'll also be looking at the resources required to implement it, because it does no good to purchase all this stuff and have the resources to implement it. So all of that's underway. There's an IT position job description that's been I guess a draft of it. I have a couple of comments on adding to it that I'll get back to Elizabeth. I think that now that our last meeting in June is over, July and August are usually informal months for dress. So I want to remind the board that if we want to continue that policy, that
Had that
I
on my
plan
list.
on coming
Thanks,
casual
Bob,
at
no
our
one
next
told me,
meeting.
so I was gonna come with the tie next meeting, they were all
Yeah.
gonna make me look bad.
Those
They
are
did
my
it to me.
comments. Congratulations to the North Reading baseball team for their achievements this year, and to Coach Carey for the phenomenal career that he has. And when I heard he was retiring,